Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about some snow that is possible throughout the Rockies and some of the upper Midwest. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do think weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, when do you think that the Northeast or New England will see their first snowstorm, like full-on snowstorm? When do you think that's going to occur? I would have to say probably mid to late November, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. So I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get into this video, and first things first, we're going to be talking about how we're going to go from low temperatures throughout a lot of the upper Midwest and the Rockies that are in the mid to upper 40s, maybe even 50s, down to where they're in the 20s and widespread 30s at least. So we're going to really just dive in the temperatures. It's going to get so much colder as this big cool down comes through that we've been talking about, and that's going to allow for many snow chances over the coming days, and even we're going to talk a little bit longer range as well, just give you guys some outlook towards the not so distant future, and we're going to talk about some of those snow chances that are a little bit further away as well, alongside the ones that are much closer. All right, now here is our first frame of our NAM 3KM model. We're going to be using a very HD model. And this is basically what we're dealing with right now. Some snow going on for the Rockies. We talked about this on our Facebook page. If you haven't seen our Facebook page, you can go ahead and like that in the pinned comment or the description. I've been posting a lot to that. I actually made basically a whole post about some of the snow we're dealing with right now in the Rockies, where we're going to see up to 48 inches in 48 hours, which is above a 1 inch per hour rate on average, which is just absolutely insane. So go ahead and check that out if you'd like. What we're going to do here is we're just going to move on, and we're going to move towards October 13th, so tomorrow morning, and take a look at what we're going to be seeing then. All right, now here we are on the morning of October 13th, and that's going to be Tuesday. So you might be watching this on October 13th, in which case this is going to be the current conditions. But as you can see, very heavy precipitation up there for the upper Midwest, which is to be expected this fall and winter season. We've been talking about that for months and months and months now. As we can see, there's plenty of snow up there for Washington, Idaho, Montana, mostly an elevation event at this point. It's as we move later into the morning, those earlier frames, 12Z that we just took a look at was probably like 4 or 5 a.m. This is more like 8 or 9 a.m. here on this frame. As you can see, there's less snow around, and actually our main low pressure system is actually over North Dakota by this point, bringing some snowfall. This could shift, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, where easily this could become a much more major snow event up there, but we can see widespread snow throughout Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, even some portions of Washington, and this is with those extremely far below average temperatures. We're seeing much more colder air, and that's allowing for those deep blues really to show up for a lot of those regions. And what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards Wednesday night, so Wednesday at about 8 p.m., and we're going to move on to a lower resolution model and just take a look at some other snow chances for different regions moving forward. Now, if you live in the Northeast, or really the eastern United States as a whole, you're going to want to stay tuned till the end of this video, because we are going to talk about the chance for some lake effect snow, some very widespread lake effect snow coming up in the distant future. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Right now, we're taking a look at our NAM 12KM, which is a lower resolution version of the NAM, and we're able to get a little bit further with this one. And as you can see, by the time we're taking a look at 8 p.m. on Wednesday, we still see some snow around for Montana, and even that low pressure center over Minnesota. And we're dealing with that little bit of blue there in the southeast corner of North Dakota. But as you can see, as we take a look at the temperatures here for this approximate time frame, it's very close to being 32 in a lot of these regions that are seeing the precipitation very easily. This is still 3 days out. We could see this shift towards more snowy. Also, we could see it shift towards less snowy. That's why I said snow possible in the thumbnail. I really want to put the emphasis on the fact that this is very close to being a much more major snow event, and also is equally close to just kind of not really being much at all. Still, the Rockies are going to see their snowfall, and a lot of the surrounding regions do have a higher chance, but it's mostly for Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, where we get kind of a little bit of a lower confidence, generally just in the snowfall in general. But still, Like I said, snowfall possible. This can easily shift towards a much more snowier solution here. So we're going to be watching this over the coming days. Again, the Facebook page, we will be updating things a lot more frequently than we will here on the YouTube channel. So there is additional benefits to following us on Facebook in addition to our YouTube channel. I'm not trying to plug it too hard, but really it is just a better opportunity for me to get information out to you guys a lot more frequently. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to move on towards about the mid-morning hours of Thursday, October 15th, and just see how everything has transpired by that point. All right, now as you can see, there's actually the potential for a little bit of some snow showers making their way into South Dakota, portions of Colorado, and Montana. So you can see that's kind of the lower extent of where we said snowfall possible, and that's the reason why there's snow showers possible pretty much throughout all of those regions. We see our low pressure center escaping that there to Canada, north of the Great Lakes. We do see some snowfall going on in northern Wisconsin there by that point, according to this model. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and take a look at our GFS model in the more extended range. Again, I said we're going to go further in advance just to show you guys. Take this with a grain of salt. It's getting lower and lower confidence as we go on. That's how these models typically work. This is maybe by about 12 a.m. or so. And as you can see, there is some snowfall going on for Montana and the Dakotas again on this model. It actually kind of has a clipper system because as you can see, by maybe 5 a.m. or so here on Saturday morning, it's full-on clipper system going on here for Montana, portions of also South Dakota there. And then as you can see, by time we're maybe about noontime on the October 17th, it really is, it's really down there for southern Montana, northern Wyoming, portions of central South Dakota. So snowfall is certainly going to be possible for a lot of these regions. Very, very interesting here. To see this playing out this way. Really gonna have to watch that moving forward because this could be a more major snowstorm actually if we do see a clipper system transpire. And actually here as we take a look at our Canadian model real quickly, it has a little bit more of a major solution to this. Like I said, it's a little bit later on with it, so this is maybe about 12 p.m. we're getting started, but you can see a much stronger low pressure center here. Let's take that to about maybe about 5 a.m. here, and you can see some heavier snowfall going on up there for North Dakota, Minnesota. We're also seeing some of that snow make its way down through Montana and Wyoming. And some very potent cold air behind this is going to unleash cold air into a lot of the central and eastern United States. And it's kind of associated with this low pressure center on this model. Very, very interesting. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards the final frame that I have to show you from our Canadian model. And we're also going to take a look at that lake effect snow that is possible according to the GFS model, like I said before. So we'll check that out in just a moment. All right, now as you can see, we are taking a look at some snow showers still around according to this model for North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, even down there south through Colorado and New Mexico, which isn't really unusual, but that's kind of areas that have not seen quite as much so far this season. So it'd be interesting to see them get some snowfall here later on. But you can see the Upper Peninsula of Michigan as well, up through Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas. This would really lead to a lot of snowfall in some regions that, you know, they don't really average seeing too much this time of year, but still could see some. Now, as we take, this is our GFS model actually, so we're switching models once more. I know it's a little confusing, but here we go. And we're taking a look at about 8 p.m. on next Tuesday, so October 21st. We're getting very extended range here, so we're going to want to take this with a massive grain of salt. This is mostly just for entertainment purposes and seeing if this is really going to pan out this way. This is hardly a forecast at this point because we're so far out. But I do want to be transparent with you guys and show you guys what even these models are showing in the long range with the potential to happen. There's a % chance that this could happen no matter how you draw it up. So we're just going to go over this, and then in a week or so we'll be taking a look and we'll look back at this and see if this actually panned out or not. But as you can see, a massive lake effect event occurs here on this model at about, again, 8 p.m. on Tuesday, October 21st, which would be kind of earlier than what is typical, to say the least. We see Wisconsin, Michigan, both peninsulas there. We see Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, even some showers making their way into Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, even as low as West Virginia there, and maybe even touching Maryland there. So a lot of regions would be seeing snowfall in the northeastern and eastern United States as a whole here, as well as the upper Midwest and Great Lakes if this was to occur, including Cleveland, possibly Buffalo, Erie, Pennsylvania. So lots of bigger towns here. And as you can see, the low temperatures that night on this model This is exactly why this is occurring. We see 20s pretty widespread throughout most of those regions that are seeing snowfall. And generally 30s, obviously, in the surrounding regions, pretty widespread here. So this would be a very cold night, and we would see some colder air moving over those warmer waters. This certainly would lead to a pretty decent lake effect event if it was to occur this way, which again is kind of lower odds. We're obviously close to 10 days out at this point, so this is very extended range. Take this with a grain of salt. I just wanted to show you guys this since this is very interesting this time of year to see a model showing this, and we'll just have to look back and see if it actually plays out that way or not, like I said before. Anyway, guys, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, how do you think November is going to go in your region? And Sophia Jean said, I'm in Indiana, and I think it's going to be cooler than normal during late November. I'm guessing the entirety of most of November you will be colder than normal, but I think that's a good call by Sophia Jean there. So good comment there. Anyway, for our patron highlights of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Diamond patrons Alicia Davis, Madbird, Cindy Klein, Dan Hazard, and Mark J, alongside our Platinum patrons Larry LePan and Donna Carnes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.